Zero. Look, I've been around this since 2012. I've seen these. And it's usually the same mistake happens most times over is people build businesses based on leverage on an 80% volatility asset. And then when the asset starts going down, everybody blows up. Yes, it's quiet right now in crypto, but the ongoing adoption, let's say the number of active addresses keeps rising over time. Even last year, in a down 75% market, the number of active addresses rose 42%, which is remarkable. So for me, everything's on track. So I think the halving is coincidental to the macro cycle. It just so happens that in 2008-9, magic things happened. One, all interest payments on all debts were forgiven. We went to zero interest rates everywhere. That reset the global economy. It's exactly the same time as Bitcoin came out. So they're all birthed. Zero interest rates and Bitcoin are birthed at the same time. And the macro cycle is this debt refi cycle every 3.5 years to 4 years that happens that exactly corresponds to the crypto cycle. I think it's coincidental. So I think macro is actually the dominant factor and the halving is a false narrative, but it doesn't matter because it still works, right? It's the same cycle. So you can measure it any way you want. So if we go, okay, well, what's going to be happening next year? So next year, the central bank will be cutting rates. Next year, there might be fiscal stimulus because of an election. Next year, if the economy's slow, they're likely to be doing quantitative easing. So that's the full set of things that you've seen on every cycle so far. So, yeah, I think it's the same. Now, there is a risk that it's not. Of course, I understand that something changes and the central banks stay higher for longer, nothing changes, liquidity doesn't come back. But that's yet to be proven.
U.S. presidential candidate Robert F. Kennedy Jr. expresses concerns about the government's plans to issue a central bank digital currency, CBDC. He sees CBDCs as tools for government control. Kennedy Jr. believes Bitcoin can be a freedom currency independent of governments, comparing it to freedom of speech. He worries that CBDCs will lead to the elimination of cash currencies, as they can be programmable and controlled by the government. Kennedy Jr. advocates for cryptocurrencies as tools to alleviate poverty and proposes regulatory initiatives to promote Bitcoin use. He also highlights the uncertainty of the U.S. dollar's future due to the growth of the Bryces Group. Former BlackRock executive Martin Bednall anticipates that the U.S. SEC will approve all spot Bitcoin ETF applications simultaneously to avoid giving any entity a first-mover advantage. This approval is seen as highly positive for crypto markets and might happen sooner than expected, possibly within 3 to 6 months. The recent loss in the Grayscale case could lead to the conversion of Grayscale Bitcoin Trust into a spot Bitcoin ETF. Bednall suggests that BlackRock's involvement in a spot Bitcoin ETF application indicates a high likelihood of SEC approval. Bitcoin faces resistance at $27,800 and struggles to break above it, trading below $27,700 and the 100-hourly simple moving average. Analysts have mixed views on Bitcoin's short-term price movements, with some predicting a return to the $29,000, $30,000 range and others observing a bearish flag pattern. On-chain data reveals increased accumulation by mid to large-size Bitcoin wallets. A crypto YouTuber named Investensor shares his Bitcoin exit plan, aiming to withdraw from the market when Bitcoin reaches $142,000. Despite the current price of Bitcoin being below $30,000, the YouTuber remains optimistic about Bitcoin's future value. He cites positive market metrics such as BlackRock's Bitcoin ETF as factors influencing his optimistic outlook. Other analysts, like BitMEX founder Arthur Hayes, also foresee significant price increases for Bitcoin in the coming years, with some predicting it could reach 6 figures. Let's continue our discussion with Raoul.
Kind of learned from the past is we don't give price appreciation because you get beaten over the head by people for it. So, it's not worth it anymore. But normally prices rise from these kind of levels 5x plus. It goes beyond the all-time high and maybe doubles that or triples that. That's the kind of zone that normally happens. Does that happen this time? I have no idea. I don't see why anything's changed. And I think the whole crypto market, Bitcoin usually underperforms in the bull cycle. So, whatever Bitcoin does, ETH will do more, Solana might do more than that, and something else, whatever, will do a lot more than that. So that's because there's a risk curve, same as there are in all markets. So that's what I'm thinking will happen this time around. I don't see any reason it shouldn't, but, as you said, there's not been many examples so far of this. So you've got kind of a few cycles, and it's like, is it going to happen every time? Who the hell knows? So for me, it's still my core asset because there's so many applications built on top of it, and that's only growing over time. And then you've got the layer 2s, and that's scaling the whole space. So, I remain very optimistic. So ETH is still my main focus and my main position. And then I have some Bitcoin, obviously, and the other bigger position I've got is Solana, which is kind of under-owned. It got killed in the down cycle, down 97%, same as ETH did back in 2018. We saw economic activity picking up on chain. If Solana continues to pick up economic activity in the way that it's doing, it will outperform ETH. Simple as that. And looking at previous cycles, those kind of things tend to do, that 10, 20, 30x. ETH did 47x from the low from 2018. Solana bottomed at, I can't remember what it was, 9, something like that. So could it do 47x? Maybe not from the low price. We'll have to wait and see. In crypto spring, the best thing to do is be prepared. What am I going to do in this cycle? How am I going to FOMO in? How am I going to position myself? What am I going to do? So I like to take notes to think about, to pre-prepare for things. Where could I be wrong? What could go on? What risks will I take? How will I stop myself doing the stupid things? Because people do stupid things. They lose their minds in a bull market if it comes. So I think there's that. The other thing is to educate yourself. Learn how to invest, understand the risks, the opportunities, and learn from the experts. That's what we do at Raoul Vision. What we're actually doing with Ledger is something quite special. We've got a festival of learning. So it's an online festival of learning. It's free to join. And there we're going to help educate you with the smartest, most famous people in the space. Everybody's going to be there. And it should be a lot of fun. People get a lot out of it. So it's called the Next Digital Asset Wave and How to Prepare for It, which is exactly what we're talking about. And people who come and join us on that, again, it's free. You can complete a Ledger Quest, which is this gamified Ledger education experience around NFTs, Web3, crypto. You can mint a proof of knowledge NFT to show that you've educated yourself. And again, I think it's great to hold yourself accountable for stuff like that. And then there's a chance to win 1,000. I think there's 100 co-branded Ledger devices. It's a Real Vision Ledger mashup. So anybody who's interested, it's an amazing event. A lot of good people going to be there. You'll get educated. You'll learn how to prepare for ahead. Think about the risks. As I said, people lose their minds in bull markets.
If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more daily updates. Remember, knowledge is power, and we're here to empower you on your financial journey. Until next time, happy investing.